Hello, in this video I'm going to share what I think is the best way to get your music onto streaming platforms like Spotify, Apple Music and YouTube Music in 2024. To get your music onto streaming platforms, you're going to need an online distributor. That's a company that you can upload your completed music files, artwork and artist info to, who will then get those files onto streaming services. They'll then collect any royalties from plays of your music on those services and pay you either a cut of those royalties or all of them. And there are loads of different online distributors out there. Some will distribute your music for free, albeit very slowly, and take a 15 to 25% cut of your royalties. Some will charge you a flat fee per single or album release. I've been using a company called DistroKid to release my own music for donkey's years, so when they offered to sponsor this video, it was a no-brainer, honestly. DistroKid charge a single fee per year, as little as $22.99, and you can release as many songs, singles, EPs, or albums as you like. There's no cap to the amount of music that you can release. Not only that, they make releasing music really easy. I'm a musician, not a tech expert, and certainly not a lawyer. I just want to get my music from my computer onto streaming platforms. And DistroKid make the process easier and more straightforward than any other distributor I've come across. You can even save 7% on any yearly plan by joining them using my unique link that's in the description and pinned comment below. What's not to like? Alright, so now you know which distributor to go with, here's how to use them to get your music out there. For this video, I'm going to release a slowed down and reverb-laden version of my future father's single, Snow. If you're watching this and wondering why anyone would want to release a slowed down version of a song onto streaming platforms, watch this video after you finish watching this one. It makes sense, I promise. Alright, so from the DistroKid homepage, you want to come up to Upload here, and then click on Upload Music. So right at the very top here, you have all of the services that you can release your music to. All the big ones are there, Spotify, Apple Music, etc. The only one that is unchecked by default is Snapchat. As you click this, you do get a little message, that pops up that asks if you own 100% of the publishing rights for this release. I believe this is because there are currently some issues with Snapchat and copyright claims, so make sure if you do plan to release your music to Snapchat that you do own 100% of the publishing rights, just to save yourself any headaches. Next, you have the option to select how many songs you are releasing. If you're going to release a whole album, this is where you can adjust the number of songs. We're just uploading one song today, so I'll just keep it selected on one song. You'll next be asked if the single has previously been released. This one has not. If you select yes, you will be asked for the original release date. In the next section, you can select an artist/band name. This is what will display on streaming services. I am releasing this as my musical pseudonym Future Father, so I'll keep this selected to this. You can enter your own band or artist name here. You have the opportunity here to link your Spotify, Apple Music and YouTube Music accounts. This makes sure that the song or songs you're going to release will appear under your artist name if it exists already. You can select your release date here. As it mentions, setting your release date to at least 1 week in the future increases your chances of getting added to playlists. I'm not too fussed really, so I'm going to leave this set to the default. Obviously, if you are interested in getting your music added to playlists and that's a priority for you, then you might want to change this. You have the option to input a record label here. Now, depending on what DistroKid plan you have, this might be set to the default, which is DistroKid. For other plans, you have the option to enter your own record label name here. You can let DistroKid generate a UPC for you, or you can specify your own, and you can select the default language for your release here as well. Next, you'll have the opportunity to select a primary and secondary genre from a pre-existing drop-down list. This list hasn't been updated in a while. This isn't down to DistroKid. These genres are set by streaming services so that your track or release will show up depending on different genre search criteria. So there's nothing really you can do about this. Try and kind of guess the closest genre to what your music is. If it fits into one of these, bang on already, then great. If not, then try and kind of get as close as you can. Next, you can upload some album art. This is what will appear on streaming services. Now, DistroKid do have some recommendations and guidance here for you. Your album cover should be 3000 by 3000 in a JPG format. There's some guidance here about what your artwork should and shouldn't contain. Don't stick web addresses and stuff like that in it. And make sure that you own the artwork or that you're using royalty-free artwork and that you are essentially allowed to use it in the context of an album or track release. So I've got mine here already. If I click on the select an image and then come down to, where are we? I really hope your desktop management is a lot better than mine. Once you've uploaded your album art, you can start filling out your song information. You can add a featured artist to your song title, so if you collaborated with someone and want to add them as a featured artist, you can do so here. And if you have a different version of the song, so for example, a radio edit or a clean version, you can add it here. And you'll get a preview of how your track will appear down below there. Next, you can upload your actual audio file. And if you already have an ISRC code, you can add it here. Or if you haven't already mastered your track, you can master it using DistroKid's own in-house mastering service, Mixia. I do have a video about that if you want to find out a bit more. I'll pop a link down in the description for you. You have the option here to add a version of your track mixed with Dolby Atmos. If you'd like to add it, I don't, so I'll leave that set to no. The next section is quite important. You have the option to let DistroKid know if it was yourself that wrote the song you're uploading or if another person did so. So if I was to click on another artist wrote it, you'll get a whole lot of information about cover songs, about remixes, things like that. So if you are planning to upload a cover or a remix, make sure you familiarize yourself with all of these rules just to cover yourself and make sure you won't have to deal with any repercussions or your song not being uploaded at all. But this is my original song, so I will click on I wrote this song or manage the songwriter. Next, you'll be asked to enter the songwriter's name. If it's yourself, enter your name. If it's someone else's, enter theirs. It's important to make sure you enter the real name of the songwriter and not the stage name. You can find out a bit more about why DistroKid does this by clicking on the Why link. You'll be asked if there are any explicit lyrics. This is an instrumental I'm uploading, so I'll leave that set to no. If you click yes, you'll get that small E icon that appears next to songs in streaming services that have sweary bad words in them. Next, you'll be asked if the song you're uploading is a radio edit or clean version of a song that has explicit content in it. Mine isn't, so we'll leave no selected here. You'll be asked if the song is an instrumental or whether or not it contains lyrics. My song is an instrumental, it has no lyrics, so I will click on this option. If you've used Apple's digital mastering service, then make sure and let DistroKid know, otherwise just leave no selected. Next, you can select when your preview clip's start time will be. Now, you can let streaming services decide this themselves, or you can specify specifically when the good part starts. So if your track is a slow burn, starts off slow and then picks up towards the middle or end, you might want to have that more exciting part highlighted in the preview clip. Myself, I'm just going to leave this set to automatic and just let streaming services decide. You can set a track price for iTunes and Amazon. For the very small percentage of people that still actually buy music from these online stores, you can set a price here. And you have a whole host of extra options that DistroKid offers that you can choose from. Some interesting options here you might want to consider are the option to add your music to YouTube's Content ID recognition service. This costs $4.95 a year, plus DistroKid will take 20% of YouTube ad revenue from the matches that they detect. If you're worried about people ripping your music off and re-uploading it to YouTube, this might be a good option for you. Also, for a one-time $29 fee, you can make sure that your music will stay on streaming services even if you cancel your DistroKid account or if your card is cancelled or something like that. So have a good look through and see if any of these tickle your fancy. I'm going to select the Store Maximizer option, which makes sure that my song will be delivered to new streaming services as DistroKid adds them. And at the very bottom here, there are some important checkboxes for you to read through and check off. So I can only imagine DistroKid get a lot of angry and confused people asking why their music is on YouTube, even though they've asked for their music to be added to YouTube. And there's other more standard stuff here as well. Again, it mentions Snapchat again. We talked about that at the very top of the page. And if it's your first time distributing through DistroKid, obviously give the distribution agreement a wee read to make sure you're happy with it. And then when you're done, just hit continue. Your artwork and your track will be uploaded. Again, you'll get the option here to have DistroKid master your track for you using their in-house Mixia service. I mastered my track previously before uploading it, so I don't need to worry about this. But the option is there if you need it, and it is quite reasonably priced. And it really is that easy. DistroKid also gives you a bit of a time frame of when you can expect your track or album to be live on streaming services. I quite often see my tracks appear on Apple Music within 24 hours. For Spotify, it kind of follows the guidelines that they've set out there. Usually a bit faster for me than 5 business days, but your mileage may vary. One final thing to note is that DistroKid do make a pre-save page for your track or album when you upload it. Down at the very bottom of the page here, I have the option to preview. If I click on that, you're taken to what's called a Hyperfollow page. Now this plays a snippet of your track for listeners or anybody you share it with. And if you share this with people and they click on pre-save, once the song lands in Spotify, the person who pre-saved it will get a notification and will be able to listen to it straight away. This is a ridiculously useful way to build hype for your releases. I have a full video on how you can make the most of your Hyperfollow page. I'll link that down in the description as well. Thanks for sticking around to the end of this video. If you found it helpful, then give that like button a good hard slap. I really appreciate it, and it helps more people see this video. And if you want to find out a bit more about how to get your music out there and how to promote it, watch this next.